Cool. Good boxes. Thank you. Peterines and Timpsons. Yeah, I'm glad we did it, Jesley.
Yes, Brandon and Stephanie and Jessica helped today with the boxes.
I'm going to go through everything once we start at 6. I'll go through how we're going to do this. Good question. Mendel's, howdy.
Yes. Mine.
Chaim. Naim. Ve'im. Nachon.
Nachon.
L'chaim. To you, Ken.
I haven't poured my glass yet. Yeah.
This is left over from my 4th class last night, of course.
Oh, is it still good?
Very good. Love it.
Oh, good.
Oh, don't you worry, Jesley. People got to get all their supplies. That's not a good idea for everyone now, though. Hey, Voglers, welcome. We're going to start in a few minutes. Yeah, you want to make sure you have your wine or grape juice, and you're going to need all your Seder stuff, that's for sure. That was in the box, and all the Seder paraphernalia that you would want to use, or whatever versions of that Seder symbols you have that you're using. I'm sure there's been a lot of creativity. And we're live on YouTube also now.
Yay.
Okay, good.
Is it kosher to feed the dogs? Only if they get 4 cups of water.
Yes, we're going to have you on mute, especially you, Ken. Actually, everyone is, only you are on mute, actually, Ken, sorry. We don't take it personal. Actually, we decided we had to mute everyone and that we'll use the chat room for people to ask questions or make comments or to harass the Cantor Rabbi.
I'm ready.
The kosher to feed the dogs always. If not, they'll bite you. Chag Sameach. Rachel Levy's with us. Yay. Nice. Oh, nice. That's great. Welcome. You have a wonderful son. Sam Haley Hills is our kids have fallen in love with him. He's a great teacher. He's a match. Brad, you can eat, you know, who's I'm not watching what you're doing. You can do whatever you want, man. You know. I think it's fabulous. You can do whatever you want symbol-wise when you're at home. You don't have us looking at you.
It's true.
I'm hungry. We have that kvetching. You know, you should have vegetables around the table during the beginning of the Seder so you guys can munch on stuff. Well, it's your second Seder, so it's okay. You can have a little something now if you needed it, right, Ken?
Exactly.
Did Evie enjoy her matzah last night?
You know, I gave her a piece of matzah and she handed it back to me. She tasted it and was like, here you go.
Yeah. This is the inside of a box. Why do we eat boxes? We know we're not supposed to eat boxes.
All right. Why are you giving me cardboard?
I do. We know you're here, Lana. Just keep writing the chat. Welcome, Scott and Carol.
And just a reminder, when you send a chat, if you want to send it to everyone who's in attendance, make sure that you select all panelists and attendants right up above where you type your message. Otherwise, it's only coming to me and Rabbi and Stephanie.
Right. do all panelists and attendees, although we'll try to read this as we can.
Yeah.
Well, it's a little after 6. How are we doing, I wonder? Let's take a look at our numbers. We're at 87. We're almost there. There we go. Well done. Hi, Renee. And Leslie. Nice. So let's give it another minute or two, huh, Kendra? What do you think?
Yeah, that sounds good, just in case people have some technical difficulties.
Hello, Costas.
Yeah.
Nice. Hi, Karen and Ginger. Oh, hi, guys. Hi, Janice and Paul. I hope you're hanging in there. Everything you've been going through. Just like, yeah, Steve, that's a good line. He says, "For Ms. Maisel, we got the rabbi." That's very cute. Oh, good. The vegetarian Seder box looks good. I like hearing that, Sam. I'm glad Iris is liking that. Actually, we do want to hear comments afterwards. So after you've eaten it, send an email to us. We would love to know how it really went. I'm just very thankful we were able to make this happen, to be honest with you, and able to do the boxes. So I'm really thankful that Jeff made that happen for us. So thank you, Stephanie, for being at Temple, making that happen. That's for sure. Well, what do you think? Should we begin, guys? What do you think?
Yeah.
The Haggadah is going to, good question, Helen. I'm going to go through all that today. Actually, the Haggadah is going to be right here with us. I'm going to be showing it to you as we go through it, so you don't have to worry about that. You do not need a mute on your end at all. We're doing it automatically. You don't ever get to speak. Oh, that's great. That's great to hear, Judy. So I think we should begin. We're all together. You're on time. And we have over 102 so far, so people will be coming. I just want to go over some logistics. Initially, this is going to be obviously a new experience for all of us, even if we did one yesterday that was different with family and then doing one like this. So I just want to thank you all for being with us. And just remember that with technology, sometimes there'll be some freezing, some slowing. We'll try to be aware of that best we can. Feel free to use the chat if there's an issue. And Stephanie again is online with us, as is Oliver, in case anyone needs help as well. Do want to let you know that we're going to lead the Seder, but let's explain really what that means. What we're going to do is we're going to lead everything up to the meal, and then we'll stop. So for those of you that want to heat up stuff, I'm hoping this won't be an hour. This should be about 45 minutes or so. It's going to be dependent kind of on how the flow goes and all this and our technology. So if you need to heat things up so that after we're done with our part, you can eat relatively soon, feel free to do so. I would make sure you have all of your Seder parts with you. For the actual Seder, we're going to go through all those rituals and do the prayers and all that leading up to the meal. Obviously, this won't be our normal second night Seder. We're going to do a version of the Haggadah, which is this one, which I will show you in a bit in a different way. Don't worry, I'm not going to be holding up pages to make you look. We actually have it on the system here in a split screen in a moment. And I wanted to just let you know that after the meal, the way it's going to work is you can go onto the website, and there is actually, Cantor has an audio and a song sheet available of the Birkat Hamazon, the Grace After Meals, and some of the great Pesach hits. Okay, there's maybe 3 of them, but she's doing them. So she'll sing those as well. So you could just tap onto that after you're done with your meal, so you have the rest of it. And again, please use the chat as you have questions, as you have comments, and we'll try to get to them as many as we can. And again, I want to thank Stephanie and Oliver helping us with the technology this evening. Without them, we would not be able to do this.
Yes.
As cool as the cantor is, even she is not as technological. As
Gotta practice talking.
Exactly. We want to let you know we're going to try our first Zoom Yiskor service next Wednesday for the last day of Passover. So Cantor and I will be doing a service. We'll have, it'll be Torah will be chanted, won't be the actual Torah. We'll do a Yiskor service. We'll think about people that have died during the year as well. So that will be at 10 a.m. next Wednesday. So please join that. Join us for that. I want to thank Brandon Frederick, our ritual chairperson, for being our designated reader tonight. So he'll be our designated reader. So you get to hear at least one other voice besides our voices. With that, let us begin, shall we? Our second night Seder.
Let's do it.
I'm very excited. Just remember, we're new to all this. So we're going to start with the first screen that you should all be looking at, this share. And this is a beautiful reading that we actually use in the beginning of our second night Seder when we're together. So we thought it'd be nice to have a little bit of familiarity from those of you that have been attending our second night Seder. This particular reading is from Rabbi Richard Levy, who is actually one of the great rabbis in the West Coast. He was the dean of the rabbinic school, and he happened to have died this past year. So just a delicious, wonderful human being. And this Haggadah that he wrote, titled A Night of Questions, is absolutely wonderful. And when we're allowed to go back to temple, I'll show you my Haggadah section. I'll show you it if you want to see more of its readings. They're really beautiful. We begin our journey through the Pesach Seder, our journey from slavery to freedom, the word and song, story and ritual, questions and more questions. We will relive the story of our ancestors' exodus and liberation. We tell the story not only to preserve the memory, we tell the story because Egypt is not only one physical place. The Exodus was not just one moment in time. We step into the story because it is both our story and the story of all people who have experienced oppression and liberation. When we recall the story of our oppression, we're resolved to fight oppression everywhere. When we recall the story of our liberation, we renew our dream for freedom everywhere. Tonight, we raise our voices as individuals and members of this Seder community committed to marching together out of Egypt. With that, we continue. Hopefully you all see that. Can you see that, Cantor?
I can see it.
Yay.
Yeah. Okay, good. So we'll join in the order of the Seder, and we're going to do a song called Seder Flow. Now, I know I can't hear you, but I'm hoping you can hear me. And this is a repeat after me song. So I'm going to say a phrase and you sing it right after me. And we'll just hope we're doing it all together. And if not, it'll be what it'll be, and we'll still get to go through the order. So first we got to snap. So Kadesh, we drink the first cup. Kadesh, we drink the first. We wash our hands or chats. We wash our hands or chats. Karpas, we dip the vegetables. Break the matzah yachatz. Magid, we tell the story. Rochta, we wash our hands some more. Motzi matzah, bless the matzah. Dip the bitter herbs maror. Korech, a yummy sandwich that we eat. Korech, a yummy sandwich that we eat. Shulchan orech, oh doesn't dinner sound so sweet? Oh doesn't dinner sound so sweet? Safun's the afikomen. Baruch we bless after the meal. We bless after the meal. Hallel we offer praises. Nitza, we finish our whole spiel. Nitza, we finish our whole spiel. And that's it. Looks like this book came a little bit out of order, but that's
nice.
I got there.
I don't know what happened with my keys here.
That's all right.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Yeah. Well, let's continue with candles, shall we, Cantor?
It's our job to put it in order, right?
That's right.
Yes. Yes, but we'll continue with candles. So do you have the candle blessing there, Rabbi?
Sure do.
There we go. Okay. All right. So hopefully everyone has their Yom Tov candles. We welcome the festival of Pesach as darkness descends. As we kindle these lights, we remember that our ancestors discovered freedom in the midst of the dark final night in Egypt. Let the candles we now light be a reflection of the light that shines within each one of us, and let that light radiate throughout our home. We praise the source of light that keeps alive the hope of freedom amidst the darkness of oppression. And we light our candles. Ooh, let's use a match that works. There we go. And we join together in the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Yom Tov. Blessed are you, eternal God, guiding spirit of the universe, who has sanctified us with laws and commanded us to light the holiday candles.
Nice. In every life, there is a journey to freedom. When very young, we know little of freedom. Freedom comes only gradually as our thoughts and actions become truly our own. At the beginning of life's way, we depend upon others, parents and families, to perform our tasks. Slowly the years pass, we grow older and travel further along the path to freedom. Grateful though we are to those who have taught and loved us, still we must see the world in new ways, our own ways. We take responsibility for our actions and come to live in and through ourselves. The journey to freedom enriches our lives, yet its challenge is often hard. Freedom must be worked, for it does not come as a gift. Life lived through others may seem easier and safer when we choose ourselves. At times, the journey's end brings rich reward, like earth unchained by spring to bear its sweetest fruit. Humans in freedom bring forth their true selves, their greatest creation. How honest the thoughts we truly think, how real the acts we truly do, how full the love we truly feel. And that's from Alvin Rhinus, one of my professors of the past. And we use many of his readings during our Second Night Seder. So we have before us our wonderful, wonderful Seder plate. And if you take a look at up here, you'll see we have some of the symbols that are listed. And of course, I'm going to show you my Seder plate here. You can see it here. Can you see it, Canner?
I can't see you, actually. I can only see your screen, I think. Let me see if I can change that.
Ah, really? So let's do this while we're doing this part. I'm going to stop that for a moment. And here we go. See it?
Ooh.
It's lovely, isn't it? It's a lovely little one. So let me go over these with all of you. So we have, of course, our Zoroa, the bone, the shank bone. If one's vegetarian or vegan, you know what you could use? A beet. A beet actually works really well for that. We, of course, that is a reminder of the shank bone, the Zoroa, of one of two sacrifices that were done. And then, of course, we have the Beitzah, the egg. This is a Yemenite egg that I made. You can see it. It's hard to see. Let me see that. Arrange this better. I like to get that little spider thing going. See it, Kenner?
Yeah, I can see it. It's little, but I can see it. Yeah, bring it close. There we go.
Ooh, they're very delicious. Very nice. Very nice. That's actually the symbol of, one would say it could be for fertility, but it's also the second sacrifice. There are actually two sacrifices that were done. One was the Korban Pesach, the first one we looked at. And this is the Korban Chagigah, which would have been a special sacrifice that was done for all the festivals and was done for all three pilgrimage festivals, Sukkot and Shavuot as well as Passover. We, of course, have one of the major symbols, the maror, the bitter herbs. I was very bummed we couldn't get horseradish, fresh root this year. There's no way to get it. Last year, we finally were able to make it. I think Ted and I made fresh last year.
Yeah, he made some fresh this year.
Did he? I didn't have a root. We have no access to roots. We looked.
Must have gotten the last one. I don't know.
Look, there's bigger problems right now, right?
Yeah.
I can't get toilet paper, I guess. And then we have charoset, of course, fabulous charoset. There's two major versions. You have the Ashkenazic or the Sephardic. The Ashkenazic has the apples, cinnamon. Some people add nuts to it, raisins. I like a little date in that, a tad of honey. And then, of course, the Sephardic one is often based on dates, for example, which is delicious.
Sorry, that's Henry.
I think Henry said he likes both.
That's my dog.
Oh, it was the dog. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was your son. Okay. Then, of course, we have karpas, our symbol for springtime, which we'll talk about in a moment. So that's our major Seder plate. But you'll see there's one thing in the middle, and this actually is a orange because it comes from our president's tree. She dropped this by for me, which I thought was very sweet of her. Hi, Edie. And this is an orange, which is one of our newer symbols, which I know you all are aware of, but I love the story of the orange. And the story is something like this, that once there was a very traditional, we'll say, person who said, yeah, there'll be an orange on a Seder plate when there's a woman rabbi. So we have an orange on the Seder plate. One of a couple symbols that I think are trying to counterbalance the fact that we come from a very patriarchal religious system, especially when you look at Judaism through a biblical lens. We often don't hear that feminine voice. So it's important for us when we have our Seders to bring back that voice, which often has been missed for so many generations. So I think that's pretty good, Kendra. I think everyone needs to pour their first cup of wine. I think you're all been very good.
I agree.
Except for that one who was doing something I can't bring up right now. Let's get out our wine, everyone. I'm going to get up the screen here.
Ooh, there we go.
Kadesh, here we are. We take a look here. Everyone should have poured their first cup of wine. Wine symbolizes the joy of life. Tonight we drink wine 4 times during the Seder, representing God's 4 promises to the Israelites of redemption from slavery, which are mentioned in the book of Exodus. And actually, there are 5 times that it's mentioned. We have Hitzalti, which means I will free you, and you have the Hotzieti, which is I will deliver you, the Ga'alti, which is I will redeem you, the Lakachti, I will take you to be my people. But the fourth one, the Haveti, is kind of I'll bring you out. And that's also mentioned. So for those of you that feel 4 cups isn't enough, you should know 5, according to some traditions, is very appropriate. So feel free if you want to drink your 5th cup. With that, why don't we continue, Cantor, with our bracha.
Okay, with the first cup of wine, we recall the first promise found in the Torah. I am Adonai, and I will free you from slavery in Egypt. Please join with me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'am ורוממנו מכל לשון וקידשנו במצוותיו. ותיתן לנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה מועדים לשמחה, חגים וזמנים לששון. את יום חג המצות הזה, זמן חירותנו, מקרא קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת עם כל העמים, ומועדי קודשך בשמחה ובששון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש ישראל והזמנים. And right into Shehechianu.
Amen.
And we'll join in Shehechianu together as we are together-ish. We still say Shehechianu.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
We got to be leaning, Cantor. Make sure you're leaning.
Yes, that's right. Please lean. Please lean. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kiyimanu v'hikianu lazman hazeh. And go ahead and drink that first cup while reclining.
Absolutely. L'chaim, everyone.
L'chaim.
Mm,
Ooh, that's good.
yummy. Well, it's time for a little appetizer action. So we better wash our hands. Don't you worry. I have my basin right here. I will do it. Now, of course, we don't say the blessing yet, but we do wash our hands because we're going to be touching the karpas. So therefore, we should wash our hands. So you're more than welcome to go wash your hands. Hand washing is a very new thing and very different idea these days, isn't it?
Yes, make sure you use your antibacterial.
There you go. And now we continue with karpas. And this is just I love this symbol. It's a symbol of spring. So everyone should go ahead now, and you're going to take your symbol for spring. Then bring out, you hopefully have your salt water. And of course, we say the blessing over the symbol for spring and for hope, because karpas is a symbol for hope as well. Remind us that hope is stronger than tears. And I think right now, that's an important message for all of us, that we need to feel a little bit of hope, don't we? That sense of hope. And we're living in times that are really not only different for us, but they're really challenging on many levels. But I think for now, we want to really focus on how blessed we are, truly are, to be in the times that we are in, that we have the ability to actually communicate through this technology. That's a blessing.
Yes.
And that gives us hope, right?
Yes.
And with that, let's do, let me bring this down to a bracha, little bracha action. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri ha'adama. I invite you to go ahead, dip and eat. Delish.
Salty.
All right. So let me go ahead and move this. We're going to continue with our yachad. So hopefully you have your matzah. Let's talk over our matzah a little bit. As you know, traditionally there are 3 matzot. And we have actually the 4th matzah. Can you see that, Cantor? Should I go to full screen, do you think?
I think I'm on full screen. What?
I just want to make sure you could see this. Everyone can see this. Okay. I'm sure everyone can see this because you'd be telling me if you didn't, right, people? Okay, good. So we have, of course, the 4, and I really like the 4th one. I born in the 60s, raised really in the 70s. For me, I was raised with the idea that we had that 4th matzah for those in the former Soviet Union who were not permitted to experience their Seder. And after that, this community was very instrumental in helping immigrate a lot of those former members of the former Soviet Union. But then we had Jews of Ethiopia, and then we had people in Darfur, Sudan, and we seem to always have a group that's persecuted. So we still maintain this 4th matzah. And I have to tell you, I look forward to the time when we don't have that 4th matzah, where there isn't a group on this planet that's not persecuted. Wouldn't that be something? So I invite you to take your middle matzah. We're going to go ahead and crack it. You take the bigger piece to make it the afikomen, which we did. And now with very special magic powers, this afikomen is now in our website at Temple Emanu-El. And if you want to find the afikomen, you have to go into our website and find it. Thank you, Oliver, for making that happen. And if you do, you'll get a very special acknowledgement, and you'll get a special videotape from the cantor. So we're very excited by that as well. So everyone, hopefully you broke your matzah. This is a very strange, cantor, not seeing anyone's faces.
I know. It's a little weird.
All right, so let's continue on. As we are going to, with our telling of our story, we're going to do obviously a shortened version. But here's our matzah again. This matzah is the matzah of hope. We set it aside as a symbol of hope for those Jews throughout the world who are not free to celebrate Passover, and for each person who's not free to experience what's in their heart to experience. And so I invite you to pass this out to everyone that's at the table with you, the other person with you maybe. They're blessed to have a couple people with you. Halachma anya, this is the bread of affliction which our ancestors ate in the land of Egypt. Let all those who are hungry come and eat with us, as long as they have gloves on and a mask. Let those who are in need come and share our meal. This year we are here. This year we are still slaves. Next year may we all be free. Now it's time to cover that matzah. It's just the teas. You can't eat yet, although I can't see what you're doing. But you should fill up that second cup of wine now, as you can see on the bottom there. And I think one of the highlights is are the 4 questions. We're really about asking questions, aren't we? That's really what, I don't know, it's one of the beauties of being Jewish.
For sure.
The ability that we have just to ask questions. It's not about accepting anything blindly, but asking questions and having knowledgeable people making knowledgeable comments. That's always a good thing, right, Kenner?
Yes.
So we have here our 4 questions. I want to go over them with you a little bit. I've said this in years past, but not every year. You'll see I kind of color-coded the English. Let me tell you why I did that. I did that because we actually have, these are not all the original from our tradition. You may not be aware of that in the Mishnah, we actually have, the first 2 are the first 2, but the third one was changed. The third one that we have now is the dipping one. The dipping one used to be number 4, and it was elevated to number 3 because number 3 was taken out, which was, take a look at the original number 3 right here. On all other nights, we may eat meat, which is roasted, cooked, or boiled. On this night, entirely roasted. Now, why would that one be taken out? Let's see who can answer that on chat. Why would that one be taken out? Okay. All right. Let's see here. What do we got going? There's been a lot of talking. I had to scroll all the way down. I didn't realize that the chat wasn't going automatically. Oh my God, there's been a lot of conversations. Andrew, can you see what anyone's written?
Yeah, so some people are saying vegan, vegetarian. Some people are saying no sacrifices. Not everyone can afford meat.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. Not everyone can afford meat either. Those are all good answers. They're not, one of them is pretty close, right? The destruction of the Second Temple in 70 CE happens, you're done. That's it. The rabbis cancel out all roasting, and you weren't allowed actually in the Ashkenazic tradition, you're still not allowed to traditionally roast lamb and eat it. Whereas in the Sephardic tradition, that's a tradition that you still do to this day, is you eat roasted lamb on Pesach. So it's an interesting idea. The one that was added was the one that is really kind of interesting. Why do I say it's interesting? Because it's about the sitting upright or reclining. What's with that one? Again, take a look at the period of time that it enters the Haggadah. The Haggadah basically is a cross-section of Jewish history, right? And so we take a look at it, we'll see that a big part of it comes literally out of the Roman banquet period. And what they were doing in Rome, the Israelites at the time thought, wow, this is what it is to be free. This is what it's all about. And they would have these large parties. I'm sure you know about the traditional Roman parties, which sound horrible actually at this stage of my life. But the reality was that they would party for days upon days, and they'd be reclining, and they would be drinking lots of wine, and they would have different green leafy vegetables dipped in vinegar or salt water as an appetizer. And so the wine, the karpas, and the leaning, and that question all came in from the period of the Roman period, which I think is kind of cool. So with that, Ken, are we ready to sing through these?
Yeah. And I think if we were together in person, I would invite up any children that feel comfortable to come up and sing with me. So if you are one of those children who would normally be coming up to sing along with me, I invite you, if you feel comfortable, to stand up at your Seder table and join me in the 4 questions. All right, here we go. Ma nishtana halayla hazeh mikol halelot, mikol halelot, shebechol halelot anu ochlin chametz umatzah, chametz umatzah, halayla hazeh kulo matzah, halayla hazeh kulo matzah, shebechol halelot anu ochlin she'ar yerakot, halayla hazeh maror, halayla hazeh maror. Shebechol halelot ein anu matpilin afilu pam echat, halayla hazeh shetei amim, halayla hazeh shetei amim. Shebechol yeah, we're getting there. Okay, there we go. Thank you. Shebechol halelot anu ochlin ben yoshvinu vein mesubin, ben yoshvinu vein mesubin, halayla hazeh kulanu mesubin, halayla hazeh kulanu mesubin.
Nice.
Yeah.
We continue. This night is different from all other nights because of our unique celebration of freedom. We'd only matzah to highlight the tale of our hasty exodus from Egypt. We bitter herbs so that we too may sample at least a taste of bitterness. We dip our bitter herbs twice, once in salt water and once in sweet charoset, as we remember both the salty tears of our ancestors and the sweetness of their hope for freedom. As a symbol of our comfort, we recline and eat as free people. Brandon. You're up, Brandon.
There we go. A tale is told about 5 rabbis on a Passover evening during the beginning of the 2nd century of the Common Era. While reclining at a Seder, they told and retold the story of the Exodus from Egypt all through the night. One of their disciples came running to tell them, "It's time to read the morning Shema, the time for the morning prayers." These 5 sages, even though well versed in the story, had reviewed the story over and over again, suggesting that they wanted to savor every nuance of the narrative. This evening, we too are discovering new meanings as we retell this ancient story.
Thank you.
All right. We join together in Avadim Hayinu. Avadim Hayinu, Hayinu, Ata b'nei chorin, Avadim Hayinu, Ata b'nei chorin, Avadim Hayinu, Ata b'nei chorin, Avadim Hayinu, Ata b'nei chorin.
Nice. The Torah commands us 4 times to teach our children about the Exodus from Egypt. Rabbis have said there are 4 kinds of children, each of whom learns in a different way. Our challenge is to find the answers that best respond to each child's question.
The wise child asks, what is the meaning of the laws of Pesach? This eager child has a thirst for knowledge and is told all that he or she may grasp in the experience of the Seder. The defiant child asks, what does this celebration mean to you? This isolated child does not include himself or herself in the question and acts like a stranger at the Seder. We challenge this child's defiance by saying, had you been in Egypt at the time of the Exodus, you would not have been included when God freed our ancestors from slavery. This invitation to learn and participate in the Seder remains open, reflecting the belief that we all have the ability to change. The simple child asks, what is this all about? We teach this unpretentious and impressionable child about the story of Exodus in terms that he or she may understand. We afford this child all the attention needed to grasp what is within his or her capacity. There is a child who does not know how to ask. We entertain this young child with the settings on the Seder table, that this child's imagination flourish inspired by the things on the table.
Thank you, Brandon.
One day, while tending his sheep, Moses saw a bush that was on fire, but that was not burning up. From the bush came God's voice. The voice told Moses to go back to Egypt to free the children of Israel and take them far away. Moses returned to Egypt and went to see Pharaoh. Moses said to Pharaoh, if you do not free the children of Israel, you shall be punished. The wicked king did not believe Moses and said, no. God was angry with Pharaoh and punished him and the Egyptians 10 times. These punishments are called the 10 plagues. Join me in a little song. When Israel was in Egypt land, let my people go. Oppressed so hard they could not stand, let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land, tell old Pharaoh, let my people go. Thus saith the Lord, bold Moses said, let my people go. If not, I'll strike your firstborn dead. Let my people go. Sing it out. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land, tell old Pharaoh, let my people go.
Nice. Well, we have our 10 plagues. So I invite you to go ahead and to get your wine glass and to get your pinky ready and hopefully a napkin around, because of course we never want to lick our finger after doing our 10 or 20 plagues, as the case may be, because we don't want to get any enjoyment from these plagues. And so we'll start with our traditional plagues, and then we're going to do our modern plagues. So I'm actually going to ask you, Cantor, to read if people write any modern plagues after I give a list of a few of them that I've written already.
Good.
Okay, Cantor?
Yes.
All right, so let's go ahead. Let's get ready. Let's do it. Dam, blood. Spardea, frogs. Kinin, lice. Arov, beasts. Deber, cattle disease. Wait, I'm gonna go down. Arbe, locusts. Oy vey. I think this is backwards. Let me do shechin, boils, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
God, hail. Arbe, locusts. And here we go. Choshech, darkness. Matarat bechorot, slain of the firstborn. And now let's take a look at our modern plagues. I would say the first one, which is probably pretty obvious to you all, is COVID-19, the coronavirus, definitely a plague. I would say a slow response to this virus would be a second plague. Third one, I would say continued disrespect toward our environment. Another one would be homelessness. And then a triple header of racism, xenophobia, and anti-Semitism. Bam. Lack of proper gun laws. How we treat immigrants or refugees. Hoarding at the store. What else do we got, Canner? Let's see, who else wrote?
We got hunger,
Hunger, good one.
poor leadership.
Yep.
I think we already said a couple of those. The rejection of science.
Yeah, I like that. Ignorance, rejection of science. That's a very important one right now. I really think that's a terrible plague. Lack of pure water. Unfair wealth distribution. Animal abuse.
Mhm.
Eating away at reproductive rights. Lack of affordable health care. Hope I didn't miss anyone. Let me
Did you
see.
say unfair wealth distribution?
Yeah,
Okay, sorry.
that one deserves twice.
Yeah.
Honesty, lack of toilet paper for some.
And homelessness was one we said too, I think.
I said that initially. Yeah, that's one of my early ones usually.
Yes.
Evade, lack of affordable housing. Absolutely. So we're going to take that and we're going to wipe it, not in our mouths, but on a napkin. We don't want to get any enjoyment from those Vakakta plagues.
Fakakta plagues.
But I want to remind us that, what was that?
I was just repeating what you said, Fakakta plagues.
Vakakta plagues. But I want to also remind us that as much as we may think we're going through a plague, I really don't like to associate this with a plague or with slavery. I think those are intense, but I think what we're going through does feel that constriction, right? That mitzrayim, that we do feel this narrowness. And for those of us that get a little claustrophobic, this is a problem. This could be an issue, right? So I think that we have to, as much as we look at these plagues, we also have to remind ourselves of the blessings that we have, even in the midst of this very challenging time for us, which hopefully if we do this right, will be a one time and out. And that means stay in our homes longer. Right, Canner?
Exactly.
Well, let's continue back on to, I'm reading here, let me switch over. Look what we have for our children here, Canner.
Yes. So if you know it, join with me. One morning, King Pharaoh woke up in his bed. There were frogs in his bed and frogs on his head, frogs on his nose and frogs on his toes. Frogs here, frogs there, frogs were jumping everywhere.
Woohoo!
All right. At last,
Nice.
Pharaoh was frightened and let the Israelites go. They hurried out of Egypt without time to bake bread for their journey. Instead, they put raw dough on their backs, which the sun baked into hard crackers called matzot. The children of Israel followed Moses to the edge of the Sea of Reeds, and God divided the sea. The Israelites crossed safely on dry land to the other side. Pharaoh changed his mind and told his soldiers to chase after them. When the Israelites were safely past the sea fell upon Pharaoh's soldiers. Moses led the Israelites safely into the desert toward the promised land. Miriam, Moses' sister, led the Israelites in dance and song as they celebrated their long-awaited freedom.
And I love this newer symbol too that we've added over the years. Let's take a look at what it says here. A modern tradition instructs us to symbolically remember Miriam the prophet by placing a cup of spring water on the Seder table. We remember Miriam's faith and courage as she watched over Moses by the river Nile and later suggested to Pharaoh's daughter that an Israelite woman, Moses' mother, be his wet nurse. The cup for Miriam recalls a midrash, a rabbinic commentary, that wherever our ancestors wandered in the Sinai wilderness, Miriam's well would appear and sustain them. I always felt that to be one of the great miracles, one of the great heroines of our Torah is Miriam. And I think it's one of the great symbols. And like the orange, I think this also reminds us that we have a you will, a feminine voice of Torah that we don't always hear, but it is really there. We just have to kind of open our ears up a little bit more to hear it. And so that, I hope that you all take a moment. We're not going to do Miriam's song, but lift up the cup at your table if you have that water cup. And even if you're using one for drinking your own water. It's very fitting that you have water, which is what sustains us as the Miriam's cup, not wine, which doesn't sustain us, but gives us joy. Beautiful. All right, so we're going to continue on. According to the Mishnah, the ancient code of Jewish law, Rabbi Gamliel said, whoever does not consider the meaning of these three, the Pesach, Matzah, Maror, has not fulfilled the purpose of the Seder. The Pesach is a reminder that God passed over the houses of our ancestors in Egypt during the 10th plague. Matzah is meant to recall our hasty flight from Egypt. We fulfilled the mitzvah, for 7 days you shall eat matzah, that you may remember your departure from Egypt as long as you live. And of course, maror, the bitter herb, is the symbol of the bitterness of servitude. May we have sympathy for all who are enslaved because of their heredity, environment, or self-imposed limitations. Brandon.
You gotta talk now.
Let us take a moment to remember our brothers and sisters who have been enslaved at various times in history and those who are still not free today. The following is a poem written by an 11-year-old boy while he was in Terezin concentration camp during World War II. I am a Jew and will be a Jew forever. Even if I should die from hunger, never will I submit. I will always fight for my people on my honor. I will never be ashamed of them. I give my word. I am proud of my people, how dignified they are. Even though I am suppressed, I will always come back to life.
Beautiful.
Great job, Brandon.
Dayenu means it would have been enough for us. The meanings of this hymn is that any one of the things God did for us, as mentioned in each verse, would have been enough to deserve our gratitude. And we're going to sing the first three that are listed there.
You ready?
Ilu hotzianu mi Mitzrayim, hotzianu mi Mitzrayim, dayenu, hey, dayenu, 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 dayenu. Ilu natan lanu eta Shabbat, natan lanu eta Shabbat, dayenu, 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 dayenu,
Dayenu.
Ilu natan lanu eta Torah, natan lanu eta Torah, dayenu, 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 dayenu. Woo. And it's finally time for that second
Yeah, nice.
that we poured so long ago. We recall God's
Oh,
second
yes.
promise
Oh,
that
yes.
will deliver you from bondage, and we join together in the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Blessed are you,
L'chaim, everyone.
universal
Enjoy.
fruit of the vine, l'chaim.
Mm.
Oh yeah, drink it up. Woo. It's good.
Yummy, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I'll have some nice wine or nice grape juice or something that you enjoy. And we're going to wash our hands for real. And of course, that would mean that you'd have to sing the ABCs. You got to remember to do your back of your hands and your thumbs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to go ahead.
Hi, sweetie. You need help?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al netilat yadayim. All right. And if someone didn't put something in the oven that they wanted to, this will be the moment where you have that designated person run to the oven and turn it on. As we're going to continue with motzi or matzah. Yeah.
Yes.
So hopefully everyone has some matzah. Kenna, do you have your matzah with you, I hope? Oh, very good.
Yes.
Good. Look at mine. I got mine special. See that?
It's bent there.
Yeah, it's curved. Yeah. It's a very special one.
Very special.
Mhm. All right, let's join together, shall we? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilat matzah. And enjoy. Mhm.
Lovely.
Okay. So everyone should have some maror, some bitter herbs. Good old horseradish works. Traditionally, we take it with a little bit of matzah. You just would take it, put the maror right on there. Be Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilat maror. Enjoy. Yeah, store-bought's not as high. I really like the fresh one.
It gets pretty spicy when it's fresh.
Yeah, it really does. This is very vinegary.
Mm.
And then we have the korach sandwich. And what's interesting about this, we alluded to it earlier, that traditionally we actually dip twice the parsley in the salt water. The second one is actually the maror in the charoset. So the tradition is you would take, if you had the disc of horseradish, and you would take that and you could put it into the charoset and eat it. But what we often do is, right, we'll take our matzah, put a layer of maror, layer of charoset on there and eat it. And feel free to do that. I will say that this is not the original sandwich. This is actually Akiva's version of Hillel sandwich. The original Hillel sandwich was like the Thanksgiving sandwich. It actually had roasted lamb on it, had the charoset itself on there, and maror. So I think it was the precursor of the Thanksgiving sandwich myself, which actually sounds kind of good, kind of having a meat with maror and charoset, right, Kendra? You have that kind of bitter, spicy, sweet thing going. And of course, charoset is a wonderful symbol of the mortar and the martyrdom, but the mortar that we used for building what we had to build when we were in Egypt. And also the sweetness of being free and the sweetness of together, even if we have to do it through these squared rooms that we're all in right now.
Hollywood Squares.
Invite you, exactly. So invite you to go ahead and nibble on that. And while we're doing that, we're going to just, although normally you wouldn't do the third cup until you eaten your meal already, we're going to go ahead and do a third cup in honor of us being together and how wonderful it is that we've been able to at least spend some time with you. I have to say on behalf of Cantor and I, how much we really do miss you.
Yes.
You may think that clergy like to talk with and no one responding back to them. On the contrary, that's the last thing we want to do. So we really hope that soon we will all be together. And I know that's going to happen soon. So may this, let's go ahead, Ken. Let's first do our bracha.
Yeah, so with this, we recall the third divine promise. I will redeem you with an outstretched arm. And we join together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
L'chaim, my friends, my dear family. May this be a sweet and blessed filled Pesach as we take this opportunity to further deepen our relationship with those who are closest to us. But know that our rest of our community is here. Always available via phone call, a Zoom meeting. We are here. We love you all. And Chag Sameach, everyone.
Chag Sameach.
This concludes our Seder this evening. Please enjoy your meal and let us know how it all goes. And I'm sure you will.
Good luck finding the afikomen, and don't forget that our prayers after the meal, so the Birkat Hamazon and who knows one and Chad Gadya, you can find on our website in worship and prayers.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cantor.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Stephanie.
Yes.
With that, take care, everyone.
All right. Bye. Chag Sameach.